Hi everyone, and welcome to the English podcast session. I'm John.
And I'm Amelia. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got an important and relatable topic on our hands: parenting in the age of social media. How much is too much?
That's right, Amelia. Social media has transformed how we connect, share, and learn, but it's also thrown a lot of challenges at parents. Let's dive right in.
So, John, parenting has changed a lot in the last decade. Social media is now a huge part of family life.
Definitely. Back in the day, parents worried about TV time or playing outside. Now, it's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Kids are growing up online.
And it's not just kids. Parents are online too. From mommy blogs to sharing milestones, the digital space is filled with family moments.
That brings up an interesting point. Should parents even be posting about their kids? Some argue it's harmless, but others worry about privacy and consent.
Exactly. There's a balance to strike. We'll come back to this. But first, let's talk about how social media affects kids directly.
Amelia, do you think there's an ideal age for kids to start using social media?
Experts say around 13, but let's be honest, many kids start earlier. Peer pressure and curiosity play a big role.
True. Platforms have age limits, but enforcement isn't foolproof. And once kids are online, they're exposed to so much good and bad.
Absolutely. There's educational content, but also bullying, unrealistic beauty standards, and sometimes harmful trends.
Parents need to be aware of what their kids are consuming. That doesn't mean spying, but staying involved.
Monitoring is key. And teaching kids about digital literacy, how to spot fake news, avoid scams, and understand online etiquette.
Now, let's talk about the challenges parents face. Amelia, what's the biggest hurdle in your opinion?
Honestly, finding the right balance. How do you give your kids freedom while protecting them from the dangers of social media?
It's tough. Some parents go for strict controls, like screen time limits or parental locks. Others adopt an open dialogue approach.
Both have merits. Strict rules can keep kids safe, but they might feel restricted. Open dialogue builds trust, but it requires a lot of patience.
And then there's the issue of parents' own social media use. Are we setting the right example?
That's a big one. If we're glued to our screens, how can we expect our kids to put their phones down?
Let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, Amelia, parents posting about their kids online. What are your thoughts?
It's tricky. On one hand, it's a way to share joy and connect with family and friends. On the other, it raises questions about privacy.
Right. Kids can't always give informed consent. And what seems cute today might embarrass them in the future.
Exactly. Plus, there's the risk of oversharing. Personal details can fall into the wrong hands.
So, the golden rule? Think before you post. Ask yourself if your child would be okay with it when they're older.
Well said, John. And always check your privacy settings.
Let's give our listeners some actionable tips. Amelia, what's your first piece of advice?
Start early. Talk to your kids about social media before they start using it. Set expectations and boundaries.
Good one. Mine would be to model healthy habits. Show them that it's okay to take breaks from screens.
I'd add creating tech-free zones at home, like during meals or before bedtime. It encourages real connection.
And don't forget to use parental controls wisely. They're a tool, not a substitute for parenting.
Exactly. And finally, stay informed. Social media trends change quickly. Keep up so you can guide your kids effectively.
Before we wrap up, let me share a short story that ties into our topic. It's about a mom named Lisa and her 13-year-old son, Ethan.
Go ahead, John.
Lisa noticed Ethan spending hours on his phone. One day, she checked his browsing history and found he'd been looking at unrealistic fitness videos. He was feeling insecure about his appearance.
That's heartbreaking. What did Lisa do?
She sat him down and had an open conversation. She explained that what he saw online wasn't always real. Together, they set screen time limits and started following more positive accounts.
A great example of communication and guidance. It shows how important it is to stay involved.
And now, it's time for our quiz question. Amelia, ready?
Always.
What is one simple rule parents can follow before posting about their kids online?
Easy. Think about whether your child would be okay with it in the future. If the answer is no, don't post it.
Spot on, Amelia. And a great takeaway for our listeners.
Well, that's all for today's episode. Parenting in the age of social media isn't easy, but with the right tools and mindset, it's manageable.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this English podcast session. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode if you found it helpful.
And as always, stay curious and keep learning. See you next time. John and bye.